The distress ping blinked for 4 shifts before Karun stopped running from it. He stood above Outpost Halcyon. Dust rolled across the red flats. The human lights below looked soft. Too soft for this world. Behind Karun, 3 cubs pressed together under a broken stone ledge. Small bodies. Big eyes. Soft plates. Quiet breathing that clicked like tiny gears. Karun hated this choice. His kind, the Varkesh, had fought humans in the corridor wars. He still carried a burn scar on his left shoulder. A human plasma lance did that. Humans were small. Easy to break. But the sickness in Karun did not care. It started as one wound, then heat, then shaking. Now numb limbs. The nearest clinic was 5 systems away. He could reach it, maybe, but his cubs could not. If he left them alone, they would starve. So he walked down the ridge and crossed the dust toward the fence. Sarah Holt was checking the perimeter when the alarm chirped. She looked up. A huge predator stood at the edge of the lights, plates, claws, forward eyes, built to hunt. Sarah did not draw her weapon. Not yet. The predator spoke through a translator. The voice sounded like stone grinding. "I require your aid," studied him. His stance was tight, not hunting. Holding himself together. "You are hurt," she said. "Dying," he corrected. Sarah kept her voice calm. "Your name Karun of the Varkesh." He stared at her like a blade. "My cubs are in a ravine north of here. I must reach a clinic. The trip takes 6 shifts. Maybe 7. He paused. "If I leave them, they will not survive." Sarah understood. "You want me to watch them?" "I want you to keep them alive." His claws opened a little, then closed again. Like he hated needing this. Sarah should have said no. Outpost Halcyon had miners and mechanics. Not handlers. Not trainers. Not people ready for predator cubs. But Sarah looked at his eyes and heard the truth. "Show me," she said. The ravine smelled of dust and warm blood. The cubs were the size of big dogs. Heavier, denser. Their plates shimmered in the dark. They hissed when Sarah came close. Tiny fangs. Tiny threats. Karun spoke low. "Feed them every 12 hours. Raw meat only. Nitrogen plants." Sarah nodded. "They need darkness," Karun said. "Bright light burns their young eyes." Yes. Sarah looked at the outpost lights and understood the problem. "And keep them together," Karun added. "If you separate them, they panic." "How bad?" Sarah asked. Karun held still. "They scream. It can break glass." Swallowed. One cub, marked with a pale stripe, leaned forward and sniffed her glove. Then it tapped her hand with a soft paw, claws still in. Cirque crouched lower. "Okay," she said. "I will do it." Karun stared at her for a long beat. Then he lowered his head. "If you betray this trust," he said, "I will hunt you with my last breath." Sarah did not blink. "I won't," she said. Karun turned and walked away. Without looking back. Day 1 was chaos. The cubs tore 2 sleeping pads. They smashed a crate. They climbed into a vent that was supposed to be sealed. For hours, Sarah heard claws in the walls. When they crawled out, they looked proud. Sarah did not. Day 2 was hunger. The cubs needed fresh meat. The outpost had rations, but not enough. So Sarah went out into the flats to hunt rock skimmers. She came back tired and bleeding. The cubs ate like they had been born starving. Day 3 was fear. The thick middle cub started to wheeze. Quiet, wrong. Outpost medkits were not made for Varkesh bodies. So Sarah built a small humidity rig from spare parts. She printed tubing. She sealed a warm chamber. She read alien notes until her eyes burned. The cub slept. The wheeze eased. Sarah leaned on the wall and breathed again. By day 4, something changed. The pale striped cub followed Sarah everywhere. It watched like a lookout. Sarah called it Ridge. The smallest cub curled into her arm when it got tired. Sir called it Moat. The stubborn middle cub acted tough. Then it dragged a shiny bolt to Sarah and dropped it at her feet. A gift. Sarah stared, then smiled once. She called it Brunt. The outpost watched in silence as Sarah became their guard and their mother. She built a dark den from cargo containers and thermal blankets. She taught them one rule: play soft. Nitrogen monoxide claws on human skin. They learned fast. Too fast, they listened. They watched. They copied. Night 6, Ridge would not rest. It paced. Spines flickered with stress. Sarah checked its hind leg and found a deep scratch. Swollen, hot, infected. Sarah did not have Varkesh medicine, so she refused to quit. She sat on the floor with her pad and mixed safe compounds. She checked pH. She tested small doses. She watched for bad reactions. Moat and Brunt watched from the shadows. Sirp made a paste that looked stable. She applied it with gentle hands. Ridge hissed once, then went still. Morning came. The swelling dropped. Ridge leaned into Sarah's palm and made a low purr, like a tiny engine. Sarah closed her eyes. "Good," she whispered. "You are safe." Karun returned on shift 7. His ship landed beyond the fence. He stepped out strong again. Plates clean. Posture steady. But his eyes carried fear. Fear of what he would find. He walked toward the outpost. Then he froze. Ridge was perched against Sarah's shoulder. Moat slept in a sling on Sarah's chest. Brunt pushed pebbles into a neat line and glanced up at Sarah for approval. Sarah was training them with small strips of dried meat. They worked together. They obeyed her voice. They looked healthy, calm, happy. Karun stared like the universe had changed. Sarah noticed him and stood. "They are ready," she said. "But they will be mad at you." "Mad?" Karun asked. Sarah nodded. "They are used to evening stories." Karun took a slow step. "Stories for cubs?" Sir smiled. "Yes, they like brave tales." Karun looked at his cubs, then at Sarah. Perhaps he said, "I judged humans wrong." Sarah shrugged. "We surprise people." Karun reached for the cubs. Ridge chirped and bumped Sarah's jaw. Then it trotted to Karun. Moat clicked a sleepy complaint, then hid its face again. Brunt carried the shiny bolt forward. Then Brunt looked back at Surf like it wanted permission. Karun's eyes widened. He lowered his head again. Deeper this time. Not threat. Respect. "My pack will remember this," Karun said. "Captain Sarah Holt. If you call, the Varkesh will answer." Sarah blinked. "You protect humans?" The translator paused, searching for meaning. "You are ours now," it said. Surf's throat tightened. Karun gathered his cubs in careful arms. As he turned to leave, Ridge looked back and made a soft farewell click. Sir answered with a matching click. "Close enough?" Ridge's spines flickered with joy. Karun stopped. "You learned our sound," he said. Sarah rubbed her cheek. "Only one. It means good hunter. I told Ridge that all week." Karun bowed once more. "To protect cubs not of your blood," he said, "is the highest honor my people know." Sarah watched them go into the rust-gold dusk. The outpost felt too quiet. Then the wind carried one last distant call. Ridge? Alive. Safe. Sarah smiled. Humans win wars with weapons. But sometimes the strongest human weapon is simple. Compassion, an open hand, and a promise kept. Neon Cub Tales family, if you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe right now. Like this video to support more FIA Cub stories. Share it with one friend who loves sci-fi. And drop a comment. What should the Cubs do next? Subscribe to Neon Cub Tales so you do not miss the next episode. Like, share, and comment now. Your support powers this channel.